You wake up, stretch your arms, and shuffle toward the bathroom. The water begins to run. Warm, soothing, comforting. But your heart? It's not comforted. It's working harder, much harder than you think, because right before that shower, you made a mistake. One that millions over 60 commit every single morning. A mistake that silently spikes your blood pressure or worse, causes it to crash. And the most terrifying part? It begins before the first drop of water touches your skin. You feel fine, maybe even good. You had breakfast, something simple, maybe a banana, maybe a slice of toast. You're taking care of yourself, right? But within minutes of entering that shower, you feel it, the slight dizziness, the heat rushing to your head, the sudden need to grip the wall just in case your knees give out. It's not just age. It's not just getting up too fast. It's the perfect storm brewing in your veins, and you built it with your fork. This morning trap hides behind routine. It feels familiar, harmless, even healthy. But what? If I told you that what you eat and when before showering can sabotage your circulation, your blood vessels, and your brain's oxygen levels? What if your blood pressure, instead of remaining stable, starts to oscillate like a broken metronome the moment you step under that stream of hot water? In South Korea, one of the countries with the highest elderly longevity in the world, doctors like Dr. Kisu Song have long warned about this silent morning danger. They've studied the link between digestion, heat exposure, and vascular response for decades, and the verdict is clear. There are certain foods that, when consumed right before a hot shower, turn your bathroom into a blood pressure battlefield. Why? Because heat dilates your blood vessels. It forces your heart to redistribute blood quickly, especially toward your skin, to cool your core. If you've just eaten, your digestive system is also demanding blood, two powerful forces pulling from the same limited supply. That's when your system buckles. That's when your heart races to compensate, your pressure spikes or collapses, and your legs start to feel like rubber. You're not weak. You're not fragile. Your body is just responding to a collision it wasn't built to handle every day, and no one warned you until now. So why is this conversation urgent? Because one fall, one blackout, one sharp increase in systolic pressure can change everything. A single moment can lead to hospitalization or worse, and yet the trigger hides in your breakfast plate and your bathroom mirror. This isn't to scare you, it's to wake you, because awareness is power. And in the next few minutes, you'll discover the 3 foods most responsible for this morning health trap. The ones you must never eat before a shower, the ones silently destabilizing your body when it's most vulnerable. So stay with me, don't miss the end, because the final food might be sitting on your table right now. You turn the handle, steam rises, the water hits your shoulders, it's warm, maybe even a little hot. Feels good, doesn't it? But inside your body, something different is happening. Your blood vessels are expanding, your heart is pumping faster, and deep beneath the surface, your internal pressure is shifting like a fragile glass balancing on a ledge. One wrong move, and it tips. What most people don't know is that hot water triggers what's called peripheral vasodilation, a process where the heat forces your blood vessels to widen, especially those near your skin. It's your body's way of keeping you from overheating, but that comes at a cost. The wider the vessels, the lower the blood pressure drops in your core. That's when you feel dizzy. That's when the world spins a little, even though your feet are on the floor. Now, pair that natural response with food. Not just any food, but specific types that spike insulin, disrupt electrolyte balance, and draw blood toward your gut. You've just eaten a sugary fruit, or a refined carb, or a potassium-draining item like processed cheese. These cause blood to flood your digestive tract, while your skin, thanks to the hot water, is demanding the same resource. It's a tug of war, and your brain? It's caught in the middle, waiting for oxygen that might come too late. Science backs this up. A 2016 study from the Journal of Geriatric Cardiology found that elderly individuals who combined post-meal hot showers experienced a 32% greater drop in systolic pressure compared to those who waited at least 45 minutes after eating. That's not a small dip. That's the kind of drop that causes fainting, loss of balance, or even microstrokes. And yet, most doctors never mention it because they treat the symptom, high blood pressure, not the daily habits that cause it to fluctuate wildly. Habits like these, habits that feel harmless, but you felt it, haven't you? That strange wooziness after stepping out of the shower, that moment where you have to sit down, that second where you grip the sink pretending everything's okay. That's your body warning you, I'm overwhelmed, and if you keep doing this, I may not catch you next time. And here's the twist. The foods that make this worse aren't junk food. They're often considered healthy. Fruit juices, whole wheat bread, even certain breakfast bars labeled Heart Smart. But timing matters. And combining those foods with a hot shower, it's like mixing oil with fire. Something's going to burn, usually your circulatory system. So what should you do? First, stop thinking of breakfast and showers as unrelated events. They're not. What you eat changes how your body reacts to heat, water, and movement. Second, stay until the end, because we're going to reveal the 3 biggest offenders and the one food that's been falsely praised for heart health but could be pushing your pressure into dangerous territory. Your morning isn't safe, not yet, but it can be if you listen to what your body's been trying to say all along. It always starts the same way. You think you're doing everything right. You eat something light, something labeled natural, maybe even heart healthy. You tell yourself, I'm taking care of my body, but minutes later you step into the shower, and that tightness in your chest, that sudden drop in energy, that wave of dizziness, it returns again, stronger, and it always catches you off guard. Let's name the silent culprits. The 3 foods you should never eat before a shower, especially after age 60, are bananas, yogurt, and white bread or toast. Surprised? That's the point. Because it's not the junk that's hurting you, it's the safe foods, the ones you were told to trust. Let's begin with bananas. Yes, they're rich in potassium, but they also cause a rapid insulin response, especially on an empty stomach. When paired with hot water-induced vasodilation, this can cause your blood sugar to crash, leading to lightheadedness, confusion, and instability in the shower. And ironically, overripe bananas lose much of their potassium, the very mineral you think you're getting. Now yogurt, especially low-fat or sweetened versions. These are loaded with simple sugars, and worse, they're cold and creamy, which seems harmless but triggers your digestive system into overdrive. That sudden demand for blood toward your stomach muscles, combined with the heat drawing blood to your skin, creates a pressure mismatch, one that can leave your heart racing and your head spinning. And then comes the most overlooked danger: white bread or toast. You might think it's mild, easy to digest, but what happens after you eat it is the real problem. It breaks down fast into glucose. It raises your insulin levels, then drops them. And refined carbs also reduce sodium levels in your blood short term, affecting hydration and triggering a chain reaction of pressure instability. Combine this with a hot shower, and you're basically asking your body to fight in 2 directions. So, why does this matter more after 60? Because as you age, your baroreceptors weaken. Those are the tiny sensors in your arteries that detect changes in blood pressure. Your heart becomes less responsive to rapid shifts, meaning a fluctuation that your younger body might have handled quietly now becomes a visible symptom. Dizziness, palpitations, nausea, fatigue, even fainting, and yet no one is talking about this. Why? Because it's not a disease, it doesn't require a prescription, it's behavioral. And the pharmaceutical world doesn't sell solutions for habits. But you can change it today, not with pills, with awareness. Here's what you need to understand. Your body, especially after 60, thrives on stability, stable sugar, stable pressure, stable temperature. When you destabilize 2 of these at once, say by eating a blood sugar spiking food and stepping into a hot shower, you're throwing your system into panic. It doesn't matter how natural the food is, it's about timing, it's about context. Later, we'll explore alternatives, what to eat, when to eat, and how to structure your mornings to protect your blood vessels and restore clarity to your routine. But for now, hold on to this. These 3 foods, bananas, yogurt, and white bread, are not evil, but before a shower, they are dangerous. The good news? You can fix this tomorrow morning. You just need to know what not to do and why. That clarity is coming, but only if you stay with me. By now, you might be asking, if this is so dangerous, why haven't doctors warned me before? Why didn't my physician ever mention these food and shower interactions? The answer reveals something deeper and more troubling about how modern medicine treats aging bodies. In the West, medicine is built around reaction, not prevention. You come in with high blood pressure, you're handed a prescription. You report faintness or dizziness in the mornings. Maybe you get a quick EKG. Rarely, if ever, does anyone ask, what did you eat before that happened? Or, what were you doing minutes before the symptoms started? Meanwhile, in countries like South Korea and Japan, nations with some of the highest elderly health scores in the world, this question is fundamental. There, morning routines are treated with ritual precision. Elders are taught not to bathe on a full stomach, to avoid certain foods before heat exposure, to monitor the timing of both meals and movements. And they follow this advice not because it's trendy, but because it's ancestral wisdom refined by science. Dr. Kisu Song, a revered figure in Korean geriatric health, once said, "To bathe in warmth with a warm gut is to invite collapse." In his decades of clinical work, he saw the same story repeat: older patients suffering sudden pressure crashes, leg weakness, and even cardiac stress shortly after eating and showering. The pattern was obvious, but in Western hospitals, this would be dismissed as mere aging. It's just part of getting older, they'd say, but it's not. It's neglect masquerading as inevitability. And here's the hidden cost. These events, these silent drops in blood pressure, these unseen internal struggles accumulate. One day it's dizziness, another day it's a fall, then it's a hospitalization, and each time the solution offered is external, pills, tests. But the root cause remains untouched because the system isn't designed to stop the storm. It's built to clean up the flood after it hits. That's why this message matters. You're not hearing this in a clinic. You're hearing it here, because sometimes true health begins outside the doctor's office. It begins in your kitchen, in your shower, in the choices you make when no one's watching. But don't mistake this for an attack on doctors. Most are doing their best. The problem is systemic, and if you're over 60, you've likely been treated like a body in decline instead of a person with untapped strength. But what if that narrative is wrong? What if the real decline isn't in your body, but in the advice you've been given? Think about it. The dizziness you felt wasn't random. The fatigue after showering wasn't normal. The pounding heart, the cold sweat, the brief moments of blurred vision, those were signals, not of aging, of imbalance. And the great news? Balance can be restored, but first, you must question what you've accepted as just the way things are. That quiet resignation that comes with age, that's the real enemy. And the antidote isn't found in a bottle. It's in rethinking the ordinary. Your breakfast, your timing, your shower. In the next section, you'll learn what happens inside your body when you bathe after eating, and why the digestive process, combined with heat, can spark a cascade of symptoms more dangerous than you imagine. This is the second hidden mistake, and correcting it might be the most powerful step you take this year. You finish eating. You feel full, but not overly stuffed. Maybe it was a bowl of oatmeal, maybe some eggs and toast. Nothing heavy, nothing unhealthy. Then, without thinking, you walk straight into the bathroom, turn on the shower, and let the warm water fall across your shoulders. Within minutes, your legs feel heavy, your balance is off, your breathing shifts, and for a moment, just a moment, you feel off, weak, disconnected. What just happened? Here's the truth. Taking a shower on a full stomach, especially after age 60, isn't harmless. It's a physiological gamble, and most people lose. Let's break it down. After eating, your body begins the process of active digestion. That means your stomach, intestines, pancreas, and liver demand extra blood to process and absorb the nutrients. It's not a small request. In fact, up to 40% of your circulating blood volume is redirected toward the digestive organs after a meal. This redirection is called postprandial hyperemia. It's completely natural, but it leaves your muscles, brain, and skin with a little less to work with. Now imagine what happens when you step into a warm or hot shower right after that. Your skin begins to heat up. Your body attempts to cool you down by sending even more blood to the surface through a process called thermoregulatory vasodilation. Two competing systems now want the same limited resource: blood flow. Your core wants to digest. Your surface wants to cool. Your heart tries to compensate. But if your cardiovascular system is already weakened by age, inflammation, or medication, it can't keep up. That's when symptoms begin: dizziness, nausea, headache, cold sweat, irregular heartbeat, even fainting. This is not just theory. A study published in the Aging Clinical and Experimental Research Journal revealed that elderly individuals who bathed within 20 minutes of eating had a significantly higher risk of Postural hypotension, a dangerous drop in blood pressure that often leads to falls. And falls, after age 60, are not simple accidents. They are one of the leading causes of death and disability among seniors worldwide. But it gets more complex. Digestion itself increases your parasympathetic nervous system activity, the part of your nervous system that relaxes your body. Meanwhile, hot water stimulates the opposite, your sympathetic nervous system, which accelerates heart rate and blood flow. When both systems are activated simultaneously, your body enters a confused state. It doesn't know whether to rest or fight, and that physiological confusion can lead to arrhythmia, vertigo, and deep fatigue that lingers for hours. And if you're taking blood pressure medication, this combination becomes even more dangerous because your medication is already relaxing your arteries. Add heat and digestion on top of that, and you might lower your pressure to dangerous levels without realizing it. So what should you do? First, wait at least 45 to 60 minutes after eating before stepping into a warm shower. Second, pay attention to the type of food you eat before bathing. Avoid simple carbs and heavy animal fats. Choose something light with stable glucose impact, like a handful of almonds or a small serving of cooked vegetables. Third, and this may surprise you, consider cooler showers in the morning. Not freezing, but neutral. Warm enough to be comfortable, but not hot enough to cause aggressive vasodilation. In Korea and Japan, many elders begin their day with lukewarm or even cold rinses, not to punish themselves, but to protect their blood vessels and activate gentle circulation without triggering dangerous shifts. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness, because you've likely had these symptoms for years and no one ever told you why. In the next section, we'll turn toward the wisdom of those who lived not just long, but strong. You'll meet a man who bathed differently, ate differently, moved differently, and lived for over 250 years. The lesson he left behind might just change how you enter your bathroom tomorrow. He was known as the man who lived 256 years. His name was Li Qing-yuan, a Chinese herbalist, martial artist, and practitioner of traditional Taoist medicine. While the exact details of his life remain part legend, part history, his lifestyle, documented through military records and multiple interviews, offers lessons so precise, so quietly profound, that modern science is only now beginning to understand what he practiced centuries ago. Li didn't live long by accident. His life was structured around rhythms, natural rhythms of the body, the seasons, and the subtle flow of energy that Western medicine often ignores. And one of his most curious habits, he never ate within an hour of bathing, not once. His routine was rigid. Rise before sunrise, move his body gently, drink warm water infused with herbs. Then, only after a period of light breathing and slow motion did he eat. And only after digestion had fully settled would he wash his body, usually with water no warmer than his own skin. Why? Because to Li, bathing wasn't just physical cleansing. It was energetic reset. And you cannot reset a system that is already fully activated in another direction. If digestion is fire, bathing must be air. If one dominates, the other must wait. At first glance, this sounds like philosophy, but today, doctors are finally seeing what Li understood through instinct and observation. A balanced internal system, free from competing demands, is what sustains life, mobility, and cognition into old age. Think of your own mornings. You wake up, maybe rushed. You eat because you think you should, then jump in the shower because you're late. Your heart races, your head gets light, and you dismiss it all as just aging. But it's not. It's disorder. The body wasn't made for chaos. It was made for sequence, for transitions. Li's greatest teaching wasn't in a single herb or meal. It was in the order of things. First wake, then breathe, then hydrate, then move, then eat, then rest, then bathe, and only then re-engage with the day. This pattern stabilized his blood pressure, cognitive clarity, and muscle function long into the years when most begin to break down. And yes, he avoided certain foods entirely before bathing, not just because they were hard to digest, but because they altered blood sugar, pulled minerals from the blood, or created excess internal heat. Li was particularly cautious of sweet fruits in the morning, fermented dairy, and white grains. He considered them disruptors of early qi, that is, foods that overstimulate before the body is ready to receive stimulation. Even without using modern terms like insulin or circulation, he had diagnosed what scientists now confirm: meals that create rapid internal activity before external stimulation, like bathing or exercise, set the body up for vascular conflict. But this isn't about becoming a monk. You don't need to live like Lee to learn from him. You just need to bring back one thing: intentional rhythm. What would happen if you took just 1 week to test this? You wake slowly. You skip the bread and banana. You hydrate. You wait 45 minutes after eating. You shower in calm, not in chaos. You'd notice something different: a steady heart, a sharper mind, more energy left by noon, fewer episodes of dizziness or fatigue, because your body doesn't want perfection. It wants predictability, and that begins with honoring its flow, not fighting it. In the final section, we'll build a new morning rhythm based on what you've learned, one that stabilizes pressure, protects your heart, and brings vitality back to something as ordinary and as essential as a shower. Your morning isn't broken. Your morning. It's just rushed, disconnected, out of rhythm. And for decades, no one told you that the pain, the dizziness, the brain fog, it wasn't your age, it was the sequence of your habits, or more accurately, the lack of sequence. But that can change right now, because if you're over 60, your body is no longer built to tolerate chaos. It demands rhythm, precision, stability. That's how you regain your energy, protect your circulation, and prevent your blood pressure from spiking in the most unexpected moment, like during a shower. So let's fix it. Start with the first step. Wake slowly, not to a blaring alarm, not straight into the brightness of your phone. Just breathe. 2 minutes. Eyes open, shoulders down. This tiny moment signals safety to your nervous system before the demands of the day start pulling you in every direction. Then, before you think of food, hydrate. A glass of warm water. Add a small pinch of salt and a squeeze of lemon. Why? Because dehydration silently raises blood pressure and disrupts circulation, especially after sleep. Most people over 60 lose their thirst reflex. That means by the time you feel thirsty, you're already behind. Don't wait. Hydration comes first. Now let's talk about food. If you need to eat before bathing because of medication, low energy, or personal rhythm, make it count. Bananas, white bread, and yogurt? Absolutely not. These destabilize your sugar levels, pull blood into the digestive tract, and throw your vascular system into a tug-of-war the moment you step into hot water. You need foods that calm the body, not challenge it. Try half an avocado with olive oil, or a few soaked walnuts, or lightly steamed sweet potato with cinnamon. These options keep your glucose stable, support your vessels, and fuel your brain without draining your core. But even with perfect food, timing is everything. Never, ever take a hot shower immediately after eating. Wait at least 45 to 60 minutes. During that window, move gently. Walk around, stretch your arms, let your digestion begin, your pressure level out, and your nervous system shift into balance. You'll feel the difference. More clarity, less fog, no dizziness, no shallow breath, or weak legs when you step out of the steam. And while we're here, lower the temperature. It doesn't need to be cold, just not burning hot. The older you get, the more sensitive your vessels become to thermal stress. A warm shower calms the body. A hot one shocks it. There's a reason people collapse in the bathroom. And it's not just age, it's temperature, timing, and tension all colliding in one vulnerable moment. Most heart attacks happen in the morning, most strokes, most collapses, because this time of day is sacred and dangerous. Your body is transitioning from rest to movement, fasting to feeding, cool to warm. If you mishandle that shift, your system suffers. But if you master it, you thrive, because the real message isn't about showers or food. It's about sequence, rhythm, listening to the body instead of overriding it. And that rhythm looks like this: wake slowly, hydrate, move, eat the right foods, wait, then bathe. That's not just routine. That's medicine. That's longevity. That's strength. And no, you're not too old to change. You're too smart to keep pretending these symptoms are just part of aging. They're not. They're warnings. And now you know how to respond. In the final section, we'll slow everything down. We'll bring the pieces together with one last reflection, one final image of what's possible if you begin tomorrow morning with a different intention.